Howdy my peeps and welcome. Today I'm going to be drawing my OC Khamier, but before we get into that, I would like to give a shout out to MK aka Morgan, who is the comment of the week. Thank you so much for your comment. I really like reading all those comments, and if you would like to be the comment of the week, all you have to do is comment on any video. I also have a Patreon page where you can get early access to videos, sketch dumps, and a monthly wallpaper, and I also have an Etsy shop. Links are in the description if you're interested. If you're new here, Khamier is my Star Wars OC. Here. I did these sketches as a warm-up, but my favorite wasn't on this page. It was on my iPad. I'm such a silly little goo. It was this one right here. It's my favorite. Yeah, I did all these as a warm-up. I kind of want to do like a meet the OC type thing. I've done one for my OC Lentz and my OC Khamier, but I haven't done one for Khamier, so I figured that I would do that today. But yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and start sketching some stuff and see what comes of it. For starters, I'd like to say sorry for the sudden jump from just a head to a full body. I turned off the recording and meant to turn it back on so that I could have like a definitive cut between clips so that I can have an easier time editing, and I forgot to restart the recording, so my apologies. But the full speed painting, Procreate speed painting, is at the end of the video, so it's saved elsewhere. But anyways, like I mentioned, Khamier is my Star Wars OC. Originally he was a brother of my other OC Lentz, which if you look at Lentz and Khamier, the two are nothing alike. Lentz is no longer a Star Wars OC for one, and Khamier, he stayed there. He stayed in the Star Wars universe for whatever reason. And he has changed a lot over the years, design-wise, and also just character-wise. Right now, I feel like I have a better idea of what I would like his character to be like, in terms of like mannerisms, personality, backstory, and all that sort of thing. Originally, I didn't really have much of an idea of like what I wanted his personality. Well, I had his personality. It was more like his like backstory and stuff. And even though I had like a general idea of what I wanted his personality to be like, he was more of a background character for Lentz's story, so I didn't really flesh out all those ideas all the way. So for a while he just kind of seemed like a caricature of a bad boy, which is really cringe to say. Well, it's not super cringe, just maybe a little, just a pinch, you know. It's okay to have a pinch of cringe every now and then, I think. But my current ideas for this character, as far as personality is concerned, I think he would be like a really, really, really sweet person. And which is like a complete 180 from how I viewed this character when I first came up with him. But yeah, I just feel like he would be very sweet, quiet in certain settings, but like really, I wouldn't say loud, but like just he'll get like comfortable with people that he's close with, and kind of let his personality show a little bit more. But with people he's not familiar with, he'd be a little more reserved. He's also very worried and anxious about a lot of things, but it's not necessarily it's not like unfounded anxiety. It's more like there's a lot of stuff going on in his life, or a lot of things that happened in his life, and he just wants to make sure everyone is all right, nice and safe, and just free from any type of harm or discomfort. I wrote a a bit of a script for a comic a few years ago, and I started writing, making. I started on the comic is what I'm trying to say, and I posted it on Instagram. If you're interested, it's like, I think I have like around 20 pages of it on Instagram. I think I have it in like a highlight reel. That's not how you say that. It's like in my highlights on Instagram if you want to see that. Oh no, is it in highlights? I'm having a moment. I think it is in highlights, but I also have like there's a name for it. It's like a place where you can like group certain posts together. I forget the name of it, but it's also there. Yeah, but for that particular comic, I stopped working on it for 2 years, maybe. I have the intention of starting it back up at some point. Right now I just have so much going on with school and work and life, so I don't really have time to work on it right now, but whenever I get time, I swear I don't want to work on that. But even like that comic that I started on, I think like a couple of years ago, is so much different from the ideas that I have right now about this character story. For one, I think I started the comic a little too early. So if you go and read that, you'll see that Khamier is like a child, and he has this friend named Jakari, and they're like, well, in that version, they're like force-sensitive children who are just being like kept in an area, but they're not Jedi. So that's something that's changed, because I feel like he should maybe be a Jedi, maybe in like pre-Clone Wars era. That's what I'm thinking. So lately I've been drawing like a lot of Khamier as a Jedi things, which I wasn't really doing before, because I didn't see him as a Jedi, or I didn't think that would be a good idea for his story. But like I said, I have since changed my mind on that. But in the original, he's just like a child, like force sensitive, and being kept in an area with a bunch of other force sensitive children. They're supposed to be like they were supposed to be like force sensitive children who were too old to join the Order, but in an era where the Jedi Order is like more cautious about just force sensitive folks just roaming around unsupervised. So they're like finding the force sensitive children that they can, or just force sensitive people. At the time, I don't think I had decided on whether it was going to just be children or adults as well. So I think we're just going to go with that whole idea of it just being children, since I can't really remember at the moment. But yeah, so it's like the Jedi are like concerned about force sensitives just being out there, so they round up what they can find, put them in a disclosed location, and they still the children still learn like Jedi values, and they practice the Jedi religion, but they're not Jedi. So that was my idea at the time. But who knows, maybe I'll go back to that, or I'll go with my current idea, which is Khamier is a Jedi. Why can't he be a Jedi? Huh? I don't know. Anyways, so that was like my thing. I was like, he's like, I don't know. I don't think misdirected is the word, but he was just like this child who is trying to figure out his place in the galaxy, and trying to figure out what he wants to do with his life, even though he was 12. That part of the story hasn't changed. I feel like he, in my current version, is still trying to figure out his place in the world. It's hard out here, you know? It really is. Anyways, but going back to the comic, I didn't even get out of the first act. I also realized that maybe the story that I would like to write is quite a bit larger than I had anticipated, especially since when I was working on this comic, I had a rough idea of what I wanted to do, and a script that's very generous. So I think it's a little too large to just kind of wing it. I feel like I would need to write a better script and page thumbnails, which my script, I'm saying it's like saying it was a script, it's pretty generous. I think I actually wrote a script after I started, but it was more of page thumbnails, and I would kind of come up with it as I sketched things. Which it was helpful having page thumbnails. I did them on 4x6 pieces of Bristol, and it was helpful for keeping up with what I wanted for the comic, and I could bang out a whole bunch of pages in one sitting, and then go back later and scan them in and do the line art and color them and stuff. So I will still do that, I think, whenever I start this back up, but I'm gonna do it a little different. I'm gonna have a little bit more structure so that I can tell the story properly and do it justice. So like I said, Khamier is supposed to be this really, really nice person, and I want for his current story, we're kind of pivoting here. I'm trying to do I was trying to make this transition a little smoother. I don't think I achieved that, but anyways. So for the current version of this, like I said, he is a Jedi at one point in his life, pre-Clone Wars, but you know how the Clone Wars went. If you watch the Clone Wars series, which I highly, highly recommend. Amazing. Peak Star Wars. I don't even I'm not one to I don't know. I'm not the person who decides who's more of a Star Wars fan than someone else, but are you really a fan if you haven't seen the Clone Wars? You still are. But are you? You know? there's just so much there. So much. There's just I can't even say all that I want to say about that right now. There's just not enough time. You just gotta go watch it. You won't regret it. But anyways, Clone Wars happened. A lot of stuff. War. And that's just not the type of person Khamier is. But the thing I can't decide is whether he skedaddles before or after the war. I'm leaning towards not after. I don't know why I said that. Before. I'm leaning towards before. I will feel like something in his life should happen where he's maybe I should reevaluate and figure out what to do with his life. So there's still things that I have to work out on that front, and I haven't necessarily sat down and actually worked all these things out just yet. It's all kind of rough. My laptop is, the fan has cut on. I hope it's okay. I think so. I think it's just the batteries dying and I'm doing too much stuff. Anyways, unrelated. But yeah, so Khamier's just trying to figure out his place in the galaxy. What is he gonna do with his life? Does he belong in the Jedi Order, or should he find out something else to do with his life? I also want something about reconnecting with family, because there's this whole thing with Jedi where they get snatched up as small children, and some of them can't even remember their family, which that was touched on in the Kenobi series. I had a lot of thoughts about the Kenobi series, but that little detail I thought was really nice. I don't want to spoil it. Gosh, I don't want to spoil it for anyone if I haven't seen it. But that whole thing of like being a child in the Order and not having that connection with your family was briefly touched on. That's all I will say. Okay, which, I mean, if you've seen The Phantom Menace, I do feel like I can talk about that, because that's been out since like 99, so I can talk about that one. There's this whole like thing with Anakin about like, oh, he's too old to join the Jedi Order, and his connection with his mom is gonna cause issues and all this stuff. So for Khamier, it's like maybe after he leaves the Order, he has to like go and, you know, reconnect. Well, he doesn't have to, but maybe he wants to reconnect with his family. And maybe that desire to go reconnect with his family, he feels maybe that's going to complete him in some way, make him feel like give him a sense of belonging, you know. And, you know, maybe that works out for him. Maybe it doesn't. Who knows? I do. Like, whenever I actually write this and get this finished, like, I don't want to reveal too much, you know, but I want to share something. But like I said, this is like a Meet the OC type thing. So I structured it like the drawing. We're pivoting to the drawing. I drew this like you would those Meet the Artist things. So you have the character, his name, and the things he likes and dislikes. And I also threw in his cat for funsies. His cat's name, for the longest time, has been Bella, but something in me wants to change it to Bells. This is a recent development, and I don't know what I don't know. I'm undecided, but it's either one of those two. So I also he doesn't carry around a bag or anything, so I just put knickknacks there instead of like bagged items. So there's like some photos, a necklace, and a disassembled lightsaber, which has some significance because he's not using it. Or is he? Why does he still have it? Why is he holding on? We'll never know. Yes, he will, eventually, inshallah. But anyways, that's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun making this, and I really like how the drawing turned out. Oh my goodness. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. Shout out to my patrons, Merriment Illustrations, Sister Donna 55, and a Spooky Rose. Thanks so much for being my patrons. I really appreciate you and everything that you do. Wow. Oh my goodness. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and please enjoy the rest of your day, my peeps.